joining us right now in the same way. Everyone's getting a podcast. We were way ahead of the game, Chris. I'll be very honest.
I mean,
with you.
look,
We were
there's
way ahead of the game.
no question.
All right, Michael Irvin joined us yesterday to promote his new podcast. This guy's got a new podcast with his former teammate and lifelong friend, Mark Ingram of the Ravens. Cameron Jordan and Mark Ingram are launching their newest original podcast, Truss Levelz. Now, again, we all know about Truss.
Big Truss.
Big Truss, right?
Big Truss.
And the Levelz is spelled with a Z.
Oh.
Okay? So everyone understand. When you're looking for it, Truss Levelz. Nice artwork right there. Cameron Jordan
awesome.
of the New Orleans Saints, the co-host of Truss Levelz, is back here on the show. How are you, bud?
I'd like to say I'm doing great, but I feel like I could be better. How we be sitting at 3-0? I've been really great. We gotta get these wins in.
Before I get to your team and your pod, what do you think of what do you think of when you hear that the Titans are dealing with the first what appears to be COVID-19 significant amounts of positive tests? What's going through your mind, Cameron?
First off, I hope it has been said that if anyone has a positive, I mean, there's false positives or whatever in this world. I'm hoping that nobody actually has COVID-19 and everybody's healthy and safe. And at the same time, I feel like, the NFL will put them through the protocols to get everybody back on track. As I've heard, but the Vikings and Titans won't be in building until Saturday. It's something that, we as a football player, we as a team or whatever, have to be always aware of our situations within COVID-19, and really just have to stay focused and vigilant on doing our best efforts of not trying to have too many outside variables.
So, but do you feel safe based on the protocols that have been set up for you by the league and the Players Association, or does this give you a pause here, Cameron?
I didn't hear that last part you said. Yeah, I mean, all I know is when it comes down to it, at least the Saints have been doing have been clear of it. And if we have to come across that bridge, we're gonna have to deal with it accordingly. I can only give the best wishes to both the teams dealing with this right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And just for those who may be curious, and I'm one of them, then you count me in there. How quickly after a game are you tested? Walk us through the testing process for you as a player, Cameron Jordan.
I would say whatever that is, the next morning. Even when we had stayed in Vegas, we got tested the next morning. So morning after, and I mean, you probably get those. I'm not sure how fast you get those results, but it's still, you come in the building and you're still looking around like, I hope everybody's okay. This is our new norm, and this is something that we've dealt with now at least 3 weeks, all the teams in the league, and for this to pop up, this is something that sort of scares you a little bit. At the same time, this is one of the risks that you knew coming into this season.
Right, and then when's the last time before a game that you're tested?
Great question. Saturday, 24 hours before.
Okay.
Whatever the league mandate is. I mean, we're pretty standard in how we follow our procedures. I'm pretty sure it's 24 hours before, I believe, something like that.
Okay. Cameron Jordan here on the Rich Eisen Show. Now let's get to your team, and I want Truss Levelz answers, if you don't mind, Cameron. All right. What do you make of the narrative that is gaining more and more steam each week that your quarterback is showing diminishing returns of being somebody over the age of 40? What do you make of that conversation, Cameron?
I'd like to say he was his most accurate last year when the same narrative was around, and the most accurate he's been in his career. I mean, we're talking about 3 games in. I feel like I'm putting everything on defense more than I would put on offense who just put up 30 points on the board. This is something that, us as a team has to get better from. This is something that, we've been sort of self-inflicted a lot of our pains and our own wounds from penalties on ourselves. And after we clean that up, I mean, when you have 70 to 100 yards worth of penalties, especially on crucial downs, this is something that you have to clean up and have to get better from.
Now, what you also know, being somebody who goes and hunts quarterbacks for a living, Cameron Jordan, and watches film and circles people on film, does your quarterback look like someone to you who can't get it down the field vertically?
I think we just had a 50-yard touchdown last week from AK, but that being said, down the field, Absolutely not. I mean, he looks like a quarterback who still makes all the throws and still able to make explosive habits. And when Mike T comes back, that'll be another piece to the offense that is just explosive. Is at one of the most premier positions you can have. If anything, I'd say I trust Drew more and more every time that he's ever taken the field than I would any other quarterback.
Now, Cameron, the pass to your running back was like 1 yard, and he ran at 70. So I mean, I gotta keep it trust levels too whenever I talk to you. But that said, I'm not one of these people that's burying your quarterback. I want that said before I ask you this: is Drew pissed about it? He hears it. He's got to know it. He's got to hear it. He hears the insinuating questions when he's asked. Is he pissed about this?
I'm sure he's been asked those questions. And however he answers them, I mean, his work ethic and the way he takes to practice and the way he takes the games every week. Again, it's not for lack of points. If anything, I put it on defense and how we should be able to stop some of these offenses. Once we control, our own destiny, I feel like that will take care of itself. There's always going to be naysayers as soon as somebody reaches. They were saying the same thing game one, and after we won the game, they sort of quieted down. With every loss, there's going to be always an open airway, at least for criticism.
How do you clean that up then? How's that get cleaned up, Cameron?
Win more, Rich. We have to win this week.
That's as simple as that. Win more. Simple. I love it. Well, and what's the challenge this week? I'm sure you're going to start watching on film the way that the Lions, perform their business. Obviously, Kyler Murray's a different quarterback than Drew Brees, but they were able to pick him off 3 times. And then you saw what they were able to do offensively and not pretty much get off the field in the fourth quarter. What's the challenge here for you with the Lions this week, sir?
Right. I mean, they have a ton of weapons. You talk about Adrian Peterson and the way,
right.
We all know Adrian Peterson can be explosive and the way he comes downhill. They have Kenny Galladay, and then of course you got Marvin Jones out there making strong plays, especially from the film we just watched. And when you have playmakers everywhere, it's got to be on our defense. I'm looking at us as a defense to try and not only affect the quarterback. I mean, if we can get a couple early hits in and stay that constant pressure, that's going to be the game changer. Before I ever look at the offense, I always look at our defense, and we have to do more.
Well, look, man, I know when you're promoting something in this world, it's much easier to do it coming off a win and certainly not 2 losses. So, the fact that you're on here, is a testament to the fact that you always spit truth and you're always a professional and you're always a good guy. And that's what I imagine you and Ingram are bringing to this podcast. What your first guest was Kamara, right? Is that your first guest? Alvin?
Oh, yeah.
Alvin was your first guest, correct?
Yeah, big explosive. Straight from Alabama to through his ascension to the league.
Mm-hmm. So now, what are people going to get from this pod, Cameron? Like pound the table for trust levels. Pound it.
I'll say, if the first episode is indicative of anything,
yes,
it's that it's me and one of my best friends out here having a blast. I mean, it's me and Mark Ingram really just talking football, talking the ascension of some guys that are coming through and just the path of how it might not be the most natural way to get to one of these big time schools or get to the league and really having a fun time doing it. I mean, you're catching stories that you may not catch anywhere else because we have the ability to talk not only football, but just the pathways and how we all got to the league.
Yeah, I mean, the guests that you have include Lamar Jackson, Kittle, Kamara, obviously Derrick Henry, Evans, Bobby Wagner, who I love, and more. Who's a guest that you want? That's a question I get a lot, Cameron. Who's the guest that you want that you haven't gotten?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like you sort of got a heck of a start of a list right now. After we get everything said and done, a guest that I want. I feel like we had everybody the first season. We're going to add more on. I mean, if anything, we just had a lack of episodes to get it done.
Okay. So I mean, then let me put a finer point on it. Then, which sports broadcasting guest do you want the most, Cameron?
Oh yeah, sportscast, yeah. Between you, If I could get Rich Eisen on that thing, that could be a fun time. We bring in maybe like Jamil Hill, just because I used to always love her podcast.
Sure.
Shannon Sharp. I mean, there's all the bright personalities of the world is only going to make a podcast even more fun.
Yeah, you should have stopped. And I love Jamil, and obviously Shannon can tell so many stories. There's no between me and anyone else. I mean, like, there's just one Cameron.
Honestly, think about this. If I could get me, you, with Mark Ingram, and then we bring in like Colin Cowherd. Oh, sure. We could have debates for days.
Yeah, except I believe what I say, Cameron.
It'd be big trust levels.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, because for those who may not understand, trust levels means you're spitting truth and you believe what you say, you back it up, right? And that right?
You're spitting your truth, and if you can back up your truth, then it could be a truth to be backed up on.
Thank you. Very good. Cameron, I really appreciate your calls. Congrats on the pod. New episodes release every Wednesday. The premiere episode released last week with Alvin Kamara. Best of luck. Stay healthy. Stay safe, Cameron. You and your family, okay?
Absolutely. As my dog Mark would say, big trust.
That's right. Okay.
As all 87 sacks that I've had in my career thus far, it's always levels to this.
You knew that number off the top of your head. I mean,
look, I'm on a hunt. I'm on a mission this year. We just got to get more wins, and it starts with the defense.
So, what if I said to you, hey, in terms of, pass rushers that I want to have on this show, that I want between you and then finish the sentence with other people who are, respected, but how would you feel?
Like I'd be in very respectable company.
Okay. All right. Maybe I need to look in the mirror is what you're saying, Cameron Jordan. I got it.
Look, if you said, hey, I want you and Chandler Jones on show, I'd be like, dope. There's nobody who I enjoy more than watching other pass rushers.
Okay.
So if you say, Chandler Jones, or if you say Julius Peppers, or, you say Justin Houston or Robert Quinn or J.J. Watt, I mean, there's always one commonality.
I get it. Now I feel like crap, Cameron. Thank you. My gosh. Congrats again on the pod. Be well. Be safe.
Much appreciated.
Take care.
You got it. One, Rich.
Right back at you. It's Cameron Jordan at Cam Jordan 94. Trust levels.